Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you for coming to my presentation today. So my name is Michael, and today my presentation is titled Habits of Successful People. So a little bit about me. My goal today is to share with you my ideas and views about success and how to be successful. Now, both of my parents are very, very smart. They both have master's degrees, and they're both scientists. Myself, out of 500 students, I had the highest grades in my high school. My college exam entrance scores were quite high. I went to the top business school in the world, the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. After I graduated, I worked in a video game company, and when I was 24 years old, my salary was about $130,000 a year. But my point in saying that is, none of those things, my grades, my university, my job, none of those things made me very successful. And after I had achieved those things, I started thinking, why aren't I becoming more successful? Why can't I become more successful? So I spent 2 years' time thinking about the philosophy and the psychology of success. And that's what I want to share with you today. So success includes success in business, sports, entertainment, science, and anything. The philosophy and psychology is the same. I will share the common habits, the common ways of thinking, and the psychology of highly successful people. And by the way, there are many habits not included in this presentation as well, but I want to share the ones that I think are the most important. First off is a concept called inner score versus outer score. So let me ask you a very simple question. Would you rather be the best doctor in the world, but be thought of as the worst? So you're the best doctor in the world, but everyone thinks you are the worst doctor. Or would you rather be the worst doctor in the world? The worst doctor, but be thought of as the best. So your skill as a doctor is the worst in the world, but everyone thinks you're the best. Okay, so now raise your hand if you want to be the first one. Who wants to be the best doctor in the world, but everyone thinks you are the worst? So probably your salary is low, your reputation is not so good, people don't want to talk to you because they think you're the worst, but your actual skill is the best. Who wants to be the first one? Okay? Okay? So keep your hand up if you want to be. Okay, so about half the room. Who wants to be the second one? So you're the worst doctor, but everyone thinks you're wonderful. Okay, 4 people.
I need more thinking.
More thinking. Okay. So the point of this question is, if you said you want to be the first one, your psychology is inner score. You care about your inside score. If you said the second one, your psychology is outer score. You care about the outside score. Okay? And I'm curious. I'm curious. If I replace the word doctor with mother, would you rather be the best mother in the world, but everyone thinks you're the worst mother? Or would you rather be the worst mother, but everyone thinks you're the best mother? I'm just curious if that would change your opinion. So how many people want to be the best mother in the world, but be thought of as the worst? The best mother. So raise your hand if you want to be the best mother for your kids, the best mother for your kids. Okay. How many people want to be the worst mother in the world for your kids, but everyone thinks you're the greatest mother? Okay. Okay. So there's still some people. Okay. So outer score. If you said yes to the second one, if you are outer score, you care a lot about how other people think about you. You care a lot about what other people think about you. your focus is on getting good grades in school, getting a good job title, a high salary, a famous university, a good image. Those are the main concerns of outer score people. Inner score, you don't care so much about how other people think about you. You focus more on what you learned, what you actually do at your job, what you accomplished, your actual ability. Okay? So here are some examples of outer score and inner score. So an outer score person thinks, how famous is my university? Did I go to Tokyo University or whatever? They think, how famous is my university? Inner scorecard person thinks, what did I learn in my university? What did I actually learn? Outer scorecard thinks, how many friends do I have? Inner scorecard says, how many friends do I trust? Outer scorecard says, how big is my company? Do I work in Hitachi or Toshiba? How big is my company? Inner scorecard says, what did I contribute? What did I actually accomplish in my company? Outer scorecard says, how high is my salary? Inner scorecard says, what can I do with my salary? What can I buy? How can I help people? What can I actually do with my salary? Outer scorecard says, how high is my job title, my job rank? Inner scorecard says, well, how many young people can I mentor? How many young people can I teach? Okay? So do you see the difference between outer scorecard people and inner scorecard people? So raise your hand if you think you are an inner scorecard person. Raise your hand if you think you're an inner scorecard. Okay. Now raise your hand if you think you are outer scorecard. If you're outer scorecard. Okay. Now here's an example I use. Which one do you think is the outer scorecard person? Who do you think is the outer scorecard? This side, right? So this person, he probably went to a pretty good university. He wears a very expensive suit. He wears a clean suit. He probably works at a big bank or a big company. But the problem is he probably hates his job. He probably doesn't do so much at his job. He doesn't do anything. He just does paperwork. He falls asleep. He probably works long hours. He does a lot of overtime. He works a lot of overtime to show his boss, I'm such a good worker. Okay? But look on this side. Do you know who this is? Mark Zuckerberg. He's the founder and CEO of Facebook. At all his meetings, very important meetings, he just wears a sweatshirt. He doesn't wear an expensive suit. He's had the same girlfriend for 10 years. He lives in the same house for 10 years. He doesn't care about outer things. He cares about inner things. So that's the difference between inner scorecard and outer scorecard. Do you know who this is? On the left is Warren Buffett. He's the second richest man in the world. And on the right is Bill Gates. He's the richest man in the world. These are the two richest men in the world. And they are just eating hamburgers. They don't care, is it expensive French food or Italian food? They like hamburger, so they eat hamburger. They just wear their normal clothes that they like. They don't care about the outer scorecard things. Okay? Well, how about successful people? Professor Hitrenda of Columbia University, he researched and found that almost all successful leaders are inner scorecard. Almost all highly successful leaders are inner scorecard. Why? Inner scorecard people are usually happier, they have long-term vision, and they have self-confidence because they don't care what other people think. They have confidence. And they have a stronger motivation for success. Their motivation is not, I want other people to think I'm so great. Their motivation is, I want to be a great businessman. I want to be a great doctor. I want to help people. So their motivation is stronger. Elder scorecard people, they're good at short-term success. But they're usually not successful over many years because they work for recognition. They work for reputation and recognition. Do you understand? Their motivations are not strong enough. So according to Professor Hitrenda, successful people should aim to be inner scorecard focused. Do not care so much about the name of their university, the name of their company, their job title, but what they actually learn, what they actually can do. Any questions about this? Any questions? Okay. The second idea is called givers versus takers. Adam Grant is a professor at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, which is my school. It's where I went. He researched and he found in the world there are three types of people. There are givers, takers, and matchers. Okay?
Sorry, what is a matcher?
Yeah, I'll explain it. So givers are people who are always looking to give to other people. When they meet people, they want to give. If they see a situation, they want to give to the situation. They want to contribute. They want to give. Give time, give money, give advice, give help. Their psychology is, oh, what can I give? What can I give? That's their natural psychology. The takers are the opposite. They're always looking to take and to receive from others. They try to take time and take money, but they never give. They just want to take. They try to use other people. Okay? So when they come into a situation, they don't think, what can I give? They think, what can I get? What can I take? And matchers, they match the other people. So if someone gives to me, I want to give back. If they don't give to me, I don't give. That's what a matcher is. So they match the other side. Now, how many people think givers will be the most successful people? How many people think givers will be most successful? How many people think takers will be most successful? How many people think matchers will be most successful? Okay. Okay. So let me give you a few examples of what to give. What do giving people like to give? They like to give a helpful present. A helpful present. So let's say my friend, he's interested in history. I may give him a history book. That's a helpful present. I may give him some food that he likes. I may give him a coupon. Okay? Those are helpful presents. And the gifts should be helpful and they should be genuine. They should be from the heart, real. So if someone, goes to a trip, they go to Korea, and they come back and they bring some snacks and gifts, that doesn't have a big impact on other people. Because it's not a genuine present. It's not real, It's just for show. You understand? It's just tatema. It doesn't mean anything. But if people know I love McDonald's, and someone gives me McDonald's coupon, the coupon has no real value. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. But because they know that I love McDonald's, it has a big impact. That's a powerful gift. That's a strong gift. Okay? Teach something or give helpful advice. So a website. If someone is looking to buy a house, I may say, oh, here's this great website. You can find great houses. So teach something about a website. Teach a way to save money or to save time. Okay? Teach something. Introduce to somebody helpful. So if someone is looking to buy a house, I may say, oh, I have a friend. He sells houses. Let me introduce you. Okay? So I'm helping. I'm contributing to the situation. Recommend something with a benefit. A good book, a good movie, a good restaurant. When people need advice, I always try to give advice. And I may even go on the internet and research for them. So that saves them time. So I'm adding to the situation. I'm researching for them. So for example, a friend of mine, he is moving to America in January. He's moving to America, and he said, I don't know where to live. I don't know where to find apartments. And I know if he does the research, it will take a lot of time. It's very difficult for him to research. So I went on the internet and I found an apartment for him, and I emailed him. I said, hey, you should live in this apartment. It only took me 10 minutes, but it may take him 1 hour. So I'm adding to the situation. Okay? If somebody is lonely and they don't have friends, maybe I will introduce them to friends. Okay, so I'm trying to give something. Okay? Adam Grant, in his research, found that takers are the least successful. The people who only take are least successful. They always try to take from others, and they don't give to others. They are short-term oriented. They only think in the short term, and they do not have long-term vision. They may profit in the short term, but over the long term, they won't be successful. Now matchers, some people said matchers will be successful. Matchers are fairly successful. They give to a match the amount they receive, and they maintain a balance. But Adam Grant found that givers are actually the most successful. Givers are the most successful. They always give to others. And in the short term, I mean in 1 year or something, they're losing because they're losing time and they're losing money. But over the long term, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that's where they gain. Why? Because the world wants these people to succeed. Over the long term, they become successful. More importantly, givers have a strong motivation. They have a strong sense of purpose. They have a strong goal. So takers, their motivation is just to get. But givers, their motivation is to give to the world. How can I make the world better? So they have a strong motivation. I want to be a great doctor so I can help people, I can heal people. They have a strong purpose. Yeah, Mark.
In economics, there's the principle of invisible hands.
Yes, yes.
And nobody fully understands.
Yes.
But if positive energy gets together, then the universe will help that
Yes.
group.
Yeah, yeah.
Like fate, maybe.
Yes, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. In economics, when I think about investing, when I think about a company to invest in, one question I always ask is, does this company add benefit to society? And if the company doesn't add benefit to society, I usually won't invest in it. For example, I probably won't invest in tobacco, cigarette companies because they're not adding a benefit to society. So in the short term, they may make money, but I don't know about 10 years, 20 years if they will make money because they're not helping society, they're hurting society. So that's the invisible hand, that people who do good, companies that do good usually make a lot of money. Any other questions about givers and takers? So we talked about two concepts, right? We talked about inner score and outer score, and we talked about givers and takers.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, in case of givers,
Yeah.
givers want to do for others.
Yes.
But if givers want to, givers' aim is to be back from others,
Yeah.
it is not good, I think.
Well, that's my point. Their
Yeah.
goal is not to get back. Their goal is just to
Yeah,
give.
yeah.
Their goal is just to give.
I think that case become much.
Yeah, sure.
Ah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So this is Robert Kiyosaki. He's a Japanese Hawaiian businessman and investor. He's very, very successful. And these are some of his quotes. He says, to be truly rich, we need to give as well as receive. We need to give as well as receive. He says, when I meet somebody with no money, if I meet someone who is poor, I know it's because he isn't giving anything. So he said, if I see someone, he's poor, he has no money, he has no house, he has no car, he's not giving anything. He's a taker. That's what he says. He says, the more you give, the more you receive. And he had two fathers, his real father, which is his poor dad, and his second father, which was his rich dad. Now his poor father, his poor dad, was very intelligent. He went to university, he has an education, he's very smart. And he has a poor dad who has no education, no college, but he was rich. He said, I had two fathers. My poor father wanted to give less. He didn't want to give. And he wanted to get more. He said, that's stupid. My poor father wanted to give to other people less, but he wanted to get more. And that's why he was poor. Because it's a stupid idea. He didn't understand. How many people have seen this movie, It's a Wonderful Life? Have you seen this movie? So in this movie, the main character, he runs a bank. He owns a bank. And he's always giving to people. He's lending money and he's helping people to buy houses for 10, 20 years. He's helping people. So he has so many friends and he's helping people. And eventually he runs out of money. He has a period of trouble and his bank is very close to going bankrupt. And then all the people who he helped over 20 years, they all come together and they help him. So that's the power of giving. He's not trying to get something, he's just giving. But over 10 years, 20 years, he builds a sort of power. He builds goodwill, and other people want to help him. Okay. So when I meet someone, I always try to give. Give some time, give some help, some advice. I notice that some people are willing to give back to me. Some people want to give to me. So I think, oh, that person is a giver, or at least they're a matcher. Okay? And I try to keep a close relationship with those people. Okay? By the way, also, the more I hang out with giving people, if I hang out with giving people, I become a better giver. I become more like them. Okay, I also notice that some people are takers. They take from me, but they never give back to me. I notice there's some people around me, they only take from me. So for example, I notice some people, they always say, oh, I don't have any friends, I'm lonely, I'm bored, I don't have any friends. So I introduce them to my friends. I say, oh, here are my friends, you should hang out, you should play with them. Okay, don't be sad, hang out with them. So I'm giving to them, I'm helping them. But then, that person, maybe they have a party, and they don't invite me. So I can tell that their mentality is to take from me, but they don't want to give to me. Okay? So when I see these people, in my mind, I think, well, he probably won't be successful over the long term. Okay? So the main idea is it's best to be a giver, and it's best to surround yourself with givers. So I'm not so good at this because I have a lot of giving people around me and I try to keep a good relationship. But I also have a lot of takers around me. And I don't do a good job of separating myself from the takers. I just keep associating with the takers. So the best thing to do is to be close to the takers and to make a little bit of distance. You don't have to be mean to them and you can still be friends, but to create a little bit of distance with the people who are only taking from you.
I know that, and I agree with you that it is a very ideal life. And in this world, there are so many people who give, but there are so many cases in the same way that those people are not always rewarded. Those people are not always given by the people to whom they gave.
Yeah.
So there is some kind of contradiction.
I would say probably in the short term, they're not rewarded. But in the long term, you have to really think long term. 10 years, 20 years. I'm almost sure they will be rewarded. I'm almost sure. It's just like a way of life. I'm almost sure they will be rewarded. There's so many people right now that I'm helping, just giving advice. I'm helping, and I'm not getting anything. And I don't think I'll get anything for 5 years, but that's okay. I think I will get something in 10 years. That's really what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It's very important to work without expecting any reward. And there's a principle, famous principle. If you want to know something, you can't. If I have knowledge and I keep that knowledge will go bad. But if I have knowledge and I give it to others, if I teach, when you teach, you actually learn more. When you teach, your level goes up.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
And also, if you do things for this to have back, it's not genuine giver.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But in any case, according to Adam Grant's research, in his research, he looked at all the top CEOs in America, the most successful people, and in his research, he found that most of them are givers. Most of them give.
Most of them.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about two concepts, the givers and the takers, and the inner score and outer score. This is the third concept, okay? Risk versus uncertainty. Successful people take very little risk. They don't take risk, but they take a lot of uncertainty. There's a big difference between risk and uncertainty. Many people think risk and uncertainty are the same thing, but they are very different. Risk is the chance, is the possibility that you will lose a lot of money or assets. So it's the chance to lose a lot. That's risk. Uncertainty is simply you don't know the future. I don't know the future, but it doesn't mean there's a lot of risk. I just don't know the future. Most people, they fear risk and they fear uncertainty in the same way, but they're different. Okay, risk versus uncertainty. So a risky action, this is a risky action, is taking a big loan, having a lot of debt. That's very risky. Because if you can't pay the debt, the bank will take everything. You'll lose everything. So you're risky. That's risky. An uncertain action is taking a job at a new startup company. So joining a new, small internet company. There's a lot of uncertainty because I don't know in 5 years will the company be successful or not. So it's uncertain, but it's not risky. If the company goes bankrupt, I don't lose anything, right? I don't lose any money. Okay. Starting a business with your own money. If you start a business with a lot of your money or the bank's money, it's very risky because you may lose everything. Okay? An uncertain action is investing in a company like Google, and I will explain this one more actually. Okay, a risky action is buying financial products without understanding. So if you just buy financial products like the stock market right now, without understanding what you're buying. I talk to many Japanese people and they buy, oh, I'm buying FX. Oh, I'm making money, I'm buying FX. That's risky, that's just a gamble. They don't understand what they're buying. Some people say, oh, I'm buying Japanese companies, Nikkei 225. That's risky. There's so much risk in that. They don't understand what they're buying. They may lose half of their money or more. An uncertain action is, let's say, living in a new country. I'm going to move to Japan, I'm going to move to America. I'm not losing anything, but I just don't know the future, so it's uncertain. A risky action is dangerous driving. when I drive, I often see people, they're eating food while driving. They're looking at their cell phone while driving. That's risky. You may kill yourself. You may lose everything. That's risky. Uncertain. Starting a company, so making a new business with other people's money. If your business fails, you don't lose anything. You don't lose anything. It's just you don't know the future. It's uncertain. Okay? Do you understand this concept? Yeah.
I think it's to do risk or answer.
Yeah.
I think it needs courage.
Yes, it needs courage.
Don't be afraid
Yeah.
to be failed.
But the thing is, successful people are very afraid of risk. They fear risk, but they don't fear uncertainty. That's the point. So for example, me, I fear risk. I do not like risk. But I'm not afraid of uncertainty. Uncertainty is okay. So let me explain Google. Why is investing, buying Google stock, is not risky, but it's very uncertain. Investing in Google stock, Google is the largest internet company in the world. They have a tremendous search business and they generate a lot of cash. They make a lot of money. Because they have so much cash, there's not a lot of risk. There's not a lot of risk in investing in Google because you have a fundamentally very, very solid business. There's not a lot of risk. Google also researches many new products. For example, self-driving cars. So cars with no driver, it's just a robot. And Google Glass. There's a lot of uncertainty because we don't know whether this product will be successful. If it's successful, the company will make a lot of money. If it's not successful, they really won't lose so much money. If it's not successful, who cares? They just throw it away. So there's a lot of uncertainty. I don't know the future of Google, but there's not a lot of risk. So I have a lot of Google stock myself. Microsoft. Bill Gates, he dropped out of Harvard University to start Microsoft. In the history of Microsoft, in all these years, he has only contributed $100. He has only invested $100 of his own money. All the other money comes from investors, other people. So there's no risk. If Microsoft fails, he doesn't lose anything. He just loses $100. So if he failed, he loses $100. If he succeeds, he would be the richest man in the world. Of course, we know today he is the richest man in the world. So when he was 18 and starting his company, the future of Microsoft was uncertain. He doesn't know the future. It's uncertain, but it was not risky. Do you understand?
It's difficult to judge uncertain or risk.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to teach you. The idea is just something where you may lose a lot of money is risky. Something that you don't know the future is uncertain. Even if he failed, even if Microsoft failed, he would just go back to school. He goes back to Harvard, or he can get a job at IBM. So there just wasn't a lot of risk. There was a whole lot of uncertainty. Okay. Another example is just my decision to come to Japan. My plane ticket cost $800. That's all I paid. So that's all I lost. My future was very, very uncertain. I didn't know whether I can make friends in Japan. I didn't know whether I could learn Japanese language. I didn't know my future. But there was not a lot of risk. All of my money was safe in the bank. I could invest my money on the internet. I rented out my house in America. So I rent my house and I get money from that. I don't lose much living in Japan. I don't lose anything. But in the future, maybe I can have a very successful future. So the point is, successful people take very little risk, but they're willing to take uncertainty. Okay.
Easy understand.
Easy to understand.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. So,
So we talked about three concepts now: uncertainty, risk, givers and takers, inside, outside score. The fourth concept is proactive people versus reactive people. Successful people have a very proactive attitude. They often think these ideas. Let's think of our options. Let's think of another way. We can do it. Let's think of our options. I can choose to do another way. Let's make a way. I have another choice. I don't know, but I can learn. I can learn. Unsuccessful people have a reactive attitude. They think there's no way. There's no way. 仕方がない. I don't have time. This is the number one excuse I hear from people in the world. I don't have time. 時間がない. It's not true. You have time. You just don't care enough. A reactive person says, I don't have time, I don't have money. An active person says, I don't have time, but I will make time. I don't have money, but I will make money. I will save money. Now the rest got a little cut off. They also say, I don't know how. I can't do that. できない、わからない. That's what reactive people say. An active person will say, I don't know, but I can learn. I will go on the internet and I will learn. Okay, obviously, proactive people become much more successful. They have a much more optimistic attitude. They constantly try to improve themselves, and they look for ways to open the door. They look for a way to open. Reactive people, they always make an excuse. They like to blame the world. It's not my fault, it's the world's fault. I can't speak English because I don't have a chance, is what many Japanese people say. I can't speak English because there's not many foreigners living in Japan. That's a reactive attitude. An active attitude says, I can't speak English, so I'm going to buy books, I'm going to look on the internet, I'm going to make friends, I'm going to find people to practice with. That's an active attitude. So here are some more common words of reactive people. I can't travel because I don't have money. I can't travel because I don't have money. What would an active person say? Any ideas? What would an active person say? They would say, I can't travel because I don't have money, but I will save money. I'm not going to go to karaoke for 2 months. I'm not going to go to nomikai for 2 months. I'm going to save money and then I'm going to travel. That's what an active person would say. I'm going to get another job. I'm going to make money. Okay. I can't invest because I don't have money. That's what I hear a lot. I can't make a business. Okay. I'm too old. I'm too old. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't know how. I can't learn it. Do you see the language? This is reactive language. Here's another one that reactive people often say. He is successful. So another person. He is successful because he has something. So he is successful because his father is something. My father is just a teacher. I can't be successful. He is successful because his father is president of Hitachi. That's not fair. That's what reactive people say. They make an excuse. He is successful because he had money. So he could buy a lot of apartments and he could invest. That's why he's successful. I didn't have the money. That's just an excuse. You can make the money. You can learn. Okay. So here's a quote I found on the internet. He who wants to do something finds a way. He who wants to do nothing finds an excuse. Okay, the story of Jack Ma. Jack Ma was a poor young man living in China. And China was a very poor country in the 1970s. China was extremely poor, so Jack Ma, he admired Western countries. He looked at America and Europe and Canada and said, wow, they are wonderful countries. To learn English, he rode his bicycle 1 hour on bicycle every day to go to the park to practice speaking English with the Americans. So he never said, I can't learn English, I don't have a chance. He made a chance. He rode his bicycle 1 hour every day to the park to practice speaking with Americans. Eventually, he became an English teacher in China. His salary was $12 a month. $12 a month. $12. He applied to his university in China 3 times, and he failed 3 times. His score was too low. Finally, the university allowed him into the school because they didn't have enough students that year. We don't have enough students, but your score is too low, but we will let you in because we don't have enough students. So my point is, he's not a reactive person, right? His life is much more difficult than anyone in this room. Everyone in this room had many more chances to succeed than him. Okay. So this is pictures of him. See, these are when he was just a boy, 10, 11, 12 years old. He rode his bicycle 1 hour to make friends with Americans, talking with them. Very poor young man. Jack Ma, he applied to Harvard University 10 times. 10 times he was rejected from Harvard University. When KFC came to China, Jack Ma applied to KFC and he was rejected. He can't even get a job at KFC. 24 people applied for the job at KFC. 23 people were accepted. Only Jack Ma did not get the job at KFC. He founded Alibaba when very few people in China had computers. He started with only $20,000 raised from his wife and other friends. He had no money of his own. He had no money, so he just raised money from his friends. His mission was to make it easier for Chinese people to do business with the world. Today, Jack Ma is the richest person in China, and he has around $30 billion.
Here, owner of Alibaba?
Yeah, he's the CEO of Alibaba. Okay? So obviously, you can see he is an active person. He's not a reactive person. There's so many chances he can say an excuse. Oh, I'm just a poor boy in China. I can't be successful. There's not many foreigners in China. I can't learn English. I can't go to college. My score is too low. You see, there's many chances for him to make an excuse, but he never did because he's a very, very active person. Okay? Now he's the richest person in China, and he will probably be the richest person in the world very soon.
Bigger and
Yeah,
bigger.
it's getting bigger and bigger. He will probably be the richest man in the world. Okay? So, and my point is his start, his beginning, was much worse than anybody in this room. Any one of you could be more successful, including me. Any of us could be more successful than Jack Ma. Okay, another concept is long-term vision. Most people cannot achieve success because they don't have a long-term vision. Successful people, they think about the end of their life. They think the end of their life and build their life based on the goal. So they think, I'm 28 now. I think, what kind of person do I want to be when I'm 80 years old? I imagine, what kind of person do I want to be when I'm 80? And I build my life based on that vision. Successful people have a strong mission or purpose in life, and they make decisions based on that mission. So a mission statement is simple. What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to be, and what do you want to do? So each one of you should have a mission. What kind of person do I want to be? What do I want to do? This is Charlie Munger, one of my heroes. His quote is, "A majority of life's errors are caused by forgetting what one is really trying to do." Okay? So that's true of me. I have a vision of what I look like when I'm 80. Most of my mistakes in life are because I forget my vision. Okay? I do something that is unrelated to my vision, most of my mistakes. So here's my mission. This is my personal mission. What kind of person do I want to be? What do I want to do? I want to be a kind man that helps other people. That's who I want to be. What do I want to do? I want to be a great investor that makes other people rich, that helps other people become rich. So that's what I want to, who I want to be and what I want to do. That's my mission in life. I want to be happy is not a mission. That's not a mission. That's just a result. I want to be rich. That's not a mission. That's just a result. Do any of you have a mission you want to share? Do you have a mission of what kind of person you want to be and what do you want to do? Anyone want to share?
The first time I would share
Yeah.
would be kind of other people.
Okay.
はい。
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to be to be kind one that help other people.
Okay. Okay.
I think
Yeah.
if you do things make other people rich or other people happy,
Yeah.
consequently
Yes.
result become to be happy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to inspire people to see the truth and use creative energies positively.
Good. Good. So that's your
Build.
mission. Good. So that's your mission, and every decision you make, you should think, does this help me with my mission? Does it get me closer to my goal? Einstein said, try not to become a man of success. Don't try to be successful, but rather try to be a man of value. So don't try to be successful. Don't think about money and fame. Think about value. What kind of person do you want to be? Another story about long-term vision. In India, a man invented chess. You all know chess, right? So in India, a man invented chess. He showed chess to the king, and the king loved it. The king said, "This is a wonderful game. I love playing chess." The king said to the man, "Ask me any reward, and I will give you anything. So you can ask me a big house, you can ask me for 100 horses, ask me anything you want, and I will give it to you." The man said, "Put one rice on the first square of the chessboard. On the second square, put 2 rice. On the third square, put 4 pieces of rice." And so on. Okay? Now, how many people think this is a good reward? How many people think this is a good reward? Okay. How many people think it's a bad reward? It's too small. He should ask for a big house or something. How many people think it's a bad reward? Okay.
I think I read some kind of article.
Yeah.
If you, how do you say that, kind of system.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to make calculation,
Yeah.
if you write it, you can, how do you say, donate to, I don't know how many grain of the rice.
Yeah.
Then you can do it. You can succeed it at the same time. You can help people.
Okay.
That's the way.
Well, So basically the man said to the king, put 1 rice on the first square, 2 rice, 4 rice, 8 rice, 16 rice, 32 rice, and continue all to the end. All I want, I don't want big house, I don't want horses, I don't want money. I just want the rice on the last square. That's all he said. And the king was very angry. The king said, I offered you anything. You could ask for a big house, horses, anything you want. And you only asked me for rice? Get out of my castle. I hate you. So the king was very angry. Just, I will give you the rice you want, but get out. I don't want to see you again. The king was very angry. A week later, the king talked to his accountant, and he said, what's the problem? Why didn't you give the man the rice? Okay? The accountant said, I counted the rice in our country. We don't have enough rice in all of India to give to the man. In all of India, we don't have enough rice to give to the man. In fact, all the rice in the world we cannot give to the man. You see, here it's very small, but it's doubling every time. It's doubling every time. And by the final square, this is the amount of rice. This rice is larger than the world GDP. It's more than the world GDP. So my point is, the king didn't have long-term vision. Do you understand? The king only saw here, but he cannot imagine here. So the king thought it was a very small reward, but actually it was an enormous reward. Okay? So investing is the same way. I'm investing in stocks, or investing in apartments or anything is the same way. In the beginning it's small, it looks small. And my father, he doesn't have long-term vision. My father, he always asks me, Michael, how much money did you make this year? And I said, you can't think that way. Of course it's going to be small, but I'm not looking at the money here. I'm looking at here. I'm looking 10 years in the future, 20 years in the future. The money is going to be small here. It's going to be very, very big here. So that's long-term vision. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay, another concept about long-term vision. Successful people all have heroes that they admire. Heroes have a huge effect on what kind of person you become. The heroes have values that are admired. And if you listen to the words and speeches of heroes, you slowly become like them. You become like them. That's why it's important to choose good heroes. And you can copy the characteristics of your heroes. So every day, I listen to the speeches of my heroes, and I know everything that they're going to say. If you ask me a question, I know how they will answer the question. I know their way of thinking. And over time, I become like them. My thinking becomes like them. If you spend a lot of time with people you don't admire, you will become like them as well. So I'm not good at this. I spend a lot of time with people with not so good values, with people who I don't really admire, but I enjoy hanging out with them. I enjoy playing with them, but I don't want to be like them. But what I find is, the more time I spend with those people, I become like them. And I don't want to become like them. On the other hand, there's people even in this room that I admire. There's things I admire about them. And the more time I spend with those people, the more I become like those people. So I want to become like those people. So long-term vision, successful people have good heroes. Heroes also help you make life decisions. If I have a difficult decision, my way to decide is, what would my hero do? What would my hero do in this situation? So here are my heroes. My heroes are Warren Buffett on the right and his partner Charlie Munger. What do I admire? I admire their honesty. They are very honest. I admire their generosity. They are very giving. I admire their logic and intelligence. They're extremely smart. And I admire their patience. Many people want to get rich tomorrow. I want to be rich. Those people will never be rich. But these people, they can wait. I don't have to be rich tomorrow. I'll be rich in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So they have incredible patience. Okay. Successful people, they do what they love. They do what they love. They pick the job they would do for free. So imagine, if you were rich, if you were very, very rich, what job would you do? Just think for a second. If you had all the money in the world, if you were very rich, what job would you do? In other words, what job do you love to do? Successful people, they do the job that they love. They become successful because money is not their motivation. Love is their motivation. Success is the result. So Warren Buffett, he loves investing. The money is not important to him. He loves investing, and because he loves investing, he became very good at investing, and he became very rich. When work is fun, it is not work. Successful people, they look forward to work, and they become very skilled at it. In the past, I worked at a bank. The reason I worked at a bank was because everybody wanted to work in the bank, and the salary was high. But it was a big mistake, because I did not love it. I didn't like it. I didn't learn anything. And I was not a good worker, because I didn't love it. So successful people do what they love. Think about in this country, all the salarymen, every day they work overtime. They hate their job. They don't like the job. They work at the same job for 30 years. Those people will never be successful because they don't love what they do. Successful people love what they do. So Steve Jobs, he said, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. Bill Gates, the richest man in the world, he said, Paul and I, we never thought we would make much money out of Microsoft. We never thought we would make money. We just loved writing software. We just loved software. And he became the richest man in the world. Okay. So I want to hear from you. If you were very rich, what job would you do? If you didn't need the money, what job would you do just because you love it? Anyone want to share?
I will go Africa or country and help for people.
Okay.
Like stay.
Good. Good. Anyone else want to share? What job would you do if you had all the money?
I would find people like you who are very positive and help them to create or make the society better.
Great. Great.
Like creating something like buildings, real estate,
Great.
companies.
I'd be a blue or a white helmet.
You'd be a what?
A blue helmet or white helmet. Those people that help at war scenes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry, I didn't tell what she said.
Blue helmet.
Yeah, one of the peace forces.
Yeah.
Yeah, the peace force, the UN,
Mm-hmm.
the UN peace forces.
Like a
Yeah.
UNHCR.
It's just it's the United Nations, the forces.
Oh,
Yeah.
very in Japanese proverb な、好きこそものの上手なれかな。好きこそものの上手なラブ。ラブでいいことだ。
So every day, oh yeah, bye. So my point,
I
yeah.
like translation, so I